What's up, people, and welcome to the book club with one mother, three sisters, and a whole lot of hot takes. This is the family plot. I'm Angel, the host and the heart of the crew, joined by my baby sister Cam, our resident conspiracy theorist. Say hey, Cam.
Hey.
And our mama Lisa, the matriarch and occasional voice of reason. Say hey, mom.
Hey, Mom.
We are joined by Glenna, my sister in law, with the insightful takes. Say hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
All right, so here's how we get down. Each month, we discuss a book of our choosing. Every week, I'll share a brief summary of the chapters we've read, and then we each pick a discussion question to answer. We'll also share our first impressions, predictions, and whatever else comes up along the way. So if any of that interests you, pull up a chair, pour some tea, and get cozy as we get into this month's book right here on The Family Plot, where every chapter digs deep. All right, ladies. This month we are reading Bones at the Crossroads by Ladarian Williams, the second in a three-part series. Um, we did cover Blood at the Root a couple months back, so viewers, if you are interested in the first book of this series, go back and watch those. Now, Cam, will you do the honors in reading us the synopsis of this good book?
And Will, if you all have your Bibles, turn with me. It's homecoming season at Cayman University, and all 17-year-old Malik Barron wants to do is be a regular college student, or as regular as he can get at a magical HBCU for young Black conjurers. He's ready to go to parties, hang out with his new friends, choose a major, and talk to girls. Instead, he's reeling from a summer of revelations, heartbreak, and betrayal while still uncovering the truth about his powers and his legacy. The family he only just discovered has already fractured beyond repair, and a relative who shows up on his doorstep brings even more questions. Then there's the mother he risked everything to find, who might be the biggest threat to his life he's trying to build. To protect his new community, Malik joins an elite secret society with roots in ancient magic. His journey takes him even deeper into his own heritage and the history of the magical world, while bringing him closer to a classmate whose friendship might mean something more if Malik is ready to let her in. But how can he use powers he can't even control to defend a world he's not sure will fully ever accept him? And as the pressure and danger build, will he be able to confront the deepening cracks within the magical society as well as those building within himself? Period.
Yes, thank you, Cam. All right, ladies, let's get into this week's summary. We are covering chapters 1 through 12. So let me know if you can see the screen. Okay, great. Um, all right. First off, this cover art is just it's it's everything. It's everything to me. But let's get into the summary for this week. Malik dreams of his childhood home with his mother Lorraine before the dream fractures and turns sinister. He wakes shaken in his dorm at Cayman University. He struggles with grief over Mama Aya's death while trying to live normally, remembering Baron Samony's advice to just be a kid. His magic has changed. Purple sparks and arm markings appear. He secretly carries the scroll of Adon. Rumors spread across Rumors spread about mysterious deaths as Malik's mother regains power in secret. Malik reconnects with his friends Savan, D'Lo, and Elijah and develops feelings for Dominique. He feels an unexplained pull toward Professor Tituba Atwell, who seems to know more about him than she reveals. At Mama Aya's house, Malik encounters a shape-shifting creature called a Nunda, or I might not be pronouncing that correctly. who becomes John Henry, Mama Aya's estranged twin brother. John Henry claims to be searching for something. Malik suspects he wants the scroll. Malik learns John Henry is a legendary folklore figure empowered by Mama Aya to challenge oppressive forces and reclaim land in the Dessalines parish. Malik struggles to trust John Henry, but can't deny their family bond. At a birthday party, Malik touches Dominique and sees into her childhood memory, confirming his powers now include memory reading. A student's death interrupts the celebration. Malik accidentally enters a portal vision of his mother killing conjurers and hijacking their magic to regain access to campus. Professor Atwell urges Malik to join the Divine Elam, claiming he must prepare for what's coming. Chancellor Taryn confirms Mama Aya left Malik both her land and her magic, legally and magically binding. Malik realizes he is the Scroll of Adon. Its power now lives inside him. During magical defense class, Malik nearly strangles a classmate after being overtaken by a vision, suggesting his powers are unstable. A mysterious farmer, Mr. Chowley, appears and disappears after telling Malik he must choose the road that never ends. Malik dreams of his mother's college days and learns she was experimenting with dark magic before joining the Divine Elam. Dr. Akila confirms Lorraine was already changing before Divine Elam involvement. Professor Atwell reveals Malik carries both Kave magic and the Scrolls magic. If he doesn't learn control, the power may pop off. Malik accidentally reads Delo's traumatic memory, confirming his powers are intensifying. Dominique reveals she has synesthesia-like magical abilities and can read people through music. Malik confides in Dominique about his magic, and she promises secrecy. Malik and Dominique perform a connectus hex to stay magically linked at a concert, and Malik senses a hooded figure watching him, revealed to be Professor Kamale. Baby, that's a lot in 12 chapters. A lot. So, who want to get into their first impressions first? Okay, Cam, your hands are raised. Come on with it.
Girl, cause what? Jaw meat floor. Amen and amen again. Cause what it first of all, so many things.
So many things, but in 2 minutes or less, please give your first impression.
Oh, it there's so many things. It has to be under 2 minutes because I just can't. There's okay. Let's start with the return of the uncle that we didn't know existed. Because who are you to just walk on this property like you just got you some rights somewhere, sir? You don't pay no bills. You ain't been here. You wasn't here to fight next to her when she died. You bold. Because where was you? We could just start there. Then let's roll over to Professor Atwell just walking up. You know, I've been watching you. I think you should join the Divine Elam. What? Huh? Ma'am, who are you? And then a little piece that we glazed over just a second. That other professor, we like her. I'm kind of mad at her right now. Akila. Kind of mad at her right now because what you mean you was my mama's roommate? Y'all was basically best friends. Ma'am, pissed me off. Okay. Then we can jump back. Mr. Charlie, he was funny. But then where you go? Because how you just dip on me like that? I was turned around for all the 2.2 seconds and you just was gone. I don't like that. And then Dominique, that's going to be real cute. But I promise to God, if she do him like old girl did him, I'm pissed off with everybody. Everybody can get these verbal hands. And Mr. Williams might be getting a strongly worded letter because I'm over it. And then Kumale, to wrap all of that up, it's kind of early in the book for him. I was ready for him like a little later down the line, but now that we got him this early, I feel like it's about to be a lot of drama kicking off later in the book. And I need to know what's going on. Yeah, because that's not how I was to end. Ergo, John meet Floor. And I yield.
Listen, I totally understand job meets floor mentality. Glenna, are you ready for your first impressions, ma'am?
I completely agree with everything Cam said. The only side note I'm going to have, and that's the one I called you with, is can we discuss why he was so comfortable just being naked in somebody's kitchen and living room for so long without putting a stitch of clothes on? Like, outside of him mentioning that the guy was naked, that was the last it was talked about. There was no, this is awkward. Why is the guy still naked? It was just, it was mentioned, and then that was it. I don't know why that is stuck in my head, but it's just like, it was so bizarre. But yeah, I agree with Cam on the Dominique thing. If that goes south in any way other than our personalities don't gel, if she turns to backstabbing him for her own gain, she can be lit on fire as far as I'm concerned. He needs a solid back. He needs somebody to have his back emotionally. He needs to have a nice, solid, good relationship in his life. And I'm hoping that can be her. But I reserve judgment. Um, I'm curious what the uncle's looking for, but I understand he's lived a long life and that he doesn't feel like he needs to justify his experience, his existence. But he's been absent for how long? He needs to justify his absence in some way. Because technically, that's not his land. It may be his sister's house, but it's not his land anymore. He may be doing right by the house by keeping up the yard and helping the farmers in the area and doing all the things that a good homeowner does. I get that. But it's still not his place. He should at least run those things by Malik before he does them. And not gonna lie, and I'm drawing a blank on the kid's name. His foster brother. Tay. Um, he's adorable. The cooking thing is adorable. That whole thing is adorable. Um, I kind of like the fact that he's spending weekends at home because we get little snippets of that relationship, and I love it. And with that, I yield.
Yes, indeed. My only qualm is that I can't taste the food that Tay is making. It's so descriptive. I'm just like, man, I ain't had no good Louisiana gumbo in a minute, dog. So yeah, there's that. Mom, are you ready for your first impressions, ma'am? Well, come on off the mute. I said, come on off the mute.
Okay, so again, we are all on the same page in a lot of areas. I appreciate them bringing John Henry into the story. I understand the confusion. I too was very tickled by the man's nakedness because you old and you naked up in my house, and you seem like to feel like you ain't got to justify your presence. That's a problem number one. I appreciate you being supportive and taking care of the maintenance of this house, because clearly, Sammy in his role can't always be there to do it because he over there collecting dead folk all across the world. And somebody got to do it because I got to be at school since the campus on lockdown. But yeah, I agree. He should get approval, permission before he do it. But let's call it what it is. Hell, he getting it done. Get it done. Thank you. I still don't trust you though, because you looking for something, and I don't know what you're looking for. Initially, I thought it was the scroll, but I'm tending to lean toward something else because as you learn more about his relationship with his sister, I feel like he know he ain't got the power. So it's like, or that they powers that she inherited this extra power from their grandmother, but we know he ain't got it. So it's like, okay, what we doing? What you really got to get, or what you really got to gain from, whatever this is you're looking for. That's the question for me. Let's go, Mr. Charlie. I'm in agreement. I think funny as he was, the little ghost in the room. I think to me, he was a reminder that sometimes we see visions or things just to give us a different perspective. And I think that's what that was. Not only did he enlighten Malik on a little bit more history on who Mama Aya was in terms of how she dealt with the people in that area and was supportive of them, he also wanted him to know that, hey, make sure you choose the right path, and it just gives him a little perspective because I think he knows he ain't crazy, but the fact that I just saw this ghost, and this ghost and he's telling me these things about Mama Aya, because let's face it, he barely knew her, and then when he started to truly love and appreciate her, she was gone. So every little tidbit about her history helps. I think part of the reason John Henry is there is so he can learn about her. Then his boys, D'Lo and Savon. I'm so appreciative that his boys are still his boys. I'm going to say that because he needs some rock solid support in what he's dealing with. And I really do appreciate the fact that he was able to go back to school after all of the trauma he went through with that battle at Mama Aya's house. And the boys is like, you still good? Hey, what you need? I really appreciate. That's when you call, when I think when I taught all of my children about the friendship, associate, relationship kind of situation. Those are what we call the ride or dies. I really appreciated them being the ride or dies and still staying there once he came out of that hard situation. Because sometimes we know who we believe to be our ride or dies don't stay that way. Dominique. Well, I'm gonna say this. I knew he was gonna have a love interest in this book. I just didn't know who she was, what she was, all of that. I'm concerned in regards to her powers because I ain't never heard no mess like that before. That's the first time I can read you through music. I'm curious to learn more about her powers and how that plays out. Not that I think it's going to be anything negative or positive toward him. I'm just curious about her powers. Now, in terms of relationship, I'm hoping that she will be the one, but then let's be real. He's got to have some ups and downs in the relationship field as well. So that I expect that to occur. And last, I'm also concerned about his powers. I know he's going to tap into them a little more. Everybody that gets new powers will. I'm concerned more of Kumale. Because Kumale, well, we all know what he did in the last book. And since I can't give away nothing that happens further down, I'm just concerned that, the stuff is about to start sooner in the book than later. Because, it's going to be an epic battle somewhere. These deaths and Mama getting her powers from killing people because he saw that in the visions. So he knows some stuff finna go down. And the fact that his powers, him opening up and understanding his powers is going to be the key to that level of success. I'm concerned because Kumali is there, and knowing that he's there, how many other powerful magicians is backing her? You know, that's my concern. Sullivan, Cammy, you had a question.
Okay. I got a question about Dominique,
Mm-hmm.
because when she was talking about her power and she said it was synesthesia, I know what actual synesthesia is, but I don't recall her saying that she could read people through music. Where did I miss that at?
Well, I may have phrased that wrong. It was somehow in there. Um, Somehow the music connects some way, and I probably read it wrong as well, but it was like there was a musical overtone to her getting to people. I know Angelique is
And that's
probably.
what I probably missed something, because from what I remember, it was she had the ability to see the music, and the way she feels through the music comes off of her in the droves of color. But I feel like I'm missing something somewhere.
I feel like I missed something too with that. That's why I said I
Like,
wanted to get to better understand her, because there's some type of connection between her being able to read people with that as well. So, Glenna, you had your hand up as well.
In the very end of that transaction, or in that conversation, and I think Angel's searching for it right now, she
Mhm.
touches his chest and says, I can feel essentially, she basically says she can feel the music that calls to him. And so she was talking about how this song, oh, you're so sad. This song, you're worried.
Lamar
This song
and
means this. She can pull out his emotional feeling based off the sounds that resonate in his chest.
And
okay,
that
I do
comes
remember
through as a song. Is that what that meant?
She was just pulling songs that,
the songs that
like,
he listened to.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
Yeah, because I remember her saying something about Kendrick Lamar and Drake, and those were artists and songs that were alluded to in book one that he listened to
Uh-huh.
frequently.
And it connected with his emotions, which is why she
Yeah,
was able to pull
how
it
he
through.
was
Okay.
feeling it.
So that makes a little more sense to
That
me.
makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
So
I
also,
misinterpreted that.
I couldn't find the exact page, but like Glenna said, towards the end of that transaction, she actually apologized for being intrusive in that, because she came across this I guess it was the song of feeling like a motherless child, and she had the realization that he was hurting, and so she was like, oh, my bad, I didn't mean to I didn't mean to see all of that.
Yeah, I
So,
remember that. Okay. I
Okay.
understand now. I'm okay. I missed that little piece
Yeah, that
right there.
and you and I as well. I was just kind of aloof at how that was working, and that's why I said I didn't think it to be nothing for or against Malik and his powers. I just was not getting the connection with her and her powers. So, but thank you for clarifying that. And so with that, like I said, I know the battle is coming sooner than later, but with that, I yield.
okay, ladies, let me get into my first impression. Um, yes, John Henry naked in the kitchen was giving very much Ving Rhames and Baby Boy just whipping up some pancakes butt naked. And I agree with Pam. Yeah, Mom, he's getting stuff done, but can we get it done clothed? Is all we saying. Anywho, first impressions continued. Professor Atwell is over 400 years old. I need her skincare routine, because the people were saying how immaculate she was looking. And if I can only just dare to dream in my 60s, 70s, or 80s to have that kind of regal air about me, baby, you can't tell me nothing. I also have questions about Professor Atwell's inherent knowledge of what Malik is going through. I don't think that's just rooted in her having taught his mother and Mama Aya. I think she has some other investment in him beyond the divine Elam, some unexplained connection with him and his magic that we are yet to see. Looking forward to reading what that's about. I also was very upset that Dr. Akila ain't mentioned that she was Mama Lorraine's roommate in all of book one. Like, girl, you been here the whole time. You saw the night that her eyes turned red and she went evil and she attacked you and you ain't said nothing. Not nothing the whole book one. Girl, I got a problem with you. Anywho, Mr. Charlie, yes, he's hilarious. And I'm wondering if, because I had to go back, I need to go back and read the entirety of that day where John Henry was giving stuff out to the farmers. I don't think anybody else interacted with Charlie the whole day. And so that makes me wonder, is he a figment of Malik's imagination, or is he a very specific spirit that only revealed himself to Malik for a specific reason? More to come on that. I love that Dominique seems to be a non-toxic love interest, very much unlike Alexis. We are rooting for you. We are all rooting for you, Dominique. I also feel like it's par for the course that Dominique is also being initiated into the divine Elam as well. And I think that will help assuage Malik's hesitation to go into it, because he's been back and forth about it for many reasons. But I think having what he feels now is building to be a solid foundation with her, I think will be helpful to him moving forward in his magical journey as he tries to, discover more about himself and more about his powers. I like that they both shared some vulnerability with each other, because she was very self-conscious about her synesthesia type magic, and she said she doesn't really show that to a lot of people. Malik, very similarly with his newfound magic, with his purple swirls and his incantations on his arm. I like that they both have skin in the game as far as secrecy is concerned with their powers. What else? I was really surprised by the memory that Malik accidentally saw when he touched D-Lo. I was not at all expecting D-Lo to have come from such a family environment, but it makes a lot of sense. I wonder if we'll delve a little deeper into that, but I don't think it's likely, because dudes is dudes and they don't be talking about stuff like that. Anywho, Dominique mentioned that the divine Elam would be she, Malik, and one other person. I'm curious to know who that is. I'm curious to know who Professor Atwell been looking at on campus to see, who can stand the candle to the two of them. I'm wondering who or what is Mr. Charlie? Is he a person? Is he a ghost? Like, what are you? I'm also wondering, much like everyone else who's read up to this point, what happened with John Henry and Mama Aya? And specifically, what happened to the white folks at the railroad in that vision or that flashback? Hopefully more to come on that. I have a lot of questions about Mama Aya's history and her reasonings, and it's giving very much Harry Potter and Dumbledore, in the sense that Dumbledore had a whole bunch of shit he never said, and Harry just had to figure that stuff out along the way. And even after Dumbledore's death, it was still more stuff coming out that you start to wonder, well, damn, did I know Dumbledore at all? And that's what I'm feeling with Mama Aya, is that what we thought we knew in the little bit of time that we had with her in book one, we are now scratching our heads like, well, shoot, did that make any sense? Like, what you doing? Also, I really love Savon and D-Lo as a couple. More of that. Hope they never break up. And damn, is Taryn the pappy or no? Because Madame Bonclair keep cop blocking every time they get close to having this conversation, and it is pissing me off. I need to know, is he the daddy? Yeah, I think that was all my notes. Yeah, Madame Bonclair on my nerves. Who is the father?
Can I step in before the two excited ones? I have an answer about Charlie.
Yes, come with it, Glenna.
He's the only one that interacts with Charlie openly in the book. And an interesting thing to note, Charlie is standing directly next to Samdi when he meets him the first time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Keeping that in mind.
That's all I have.
Okay. But that's important because we know Samedi is the lower of death. So maybe he just recently passed. Maybe he just hanging out with Sammy. I don't know.
Now, mind you, I just skimmed, but it looks like he's the only one that talks to the guy.
Gotcha. All right. Mom, I see you have a hand raised.
I said in book 1 that was that boy's daddy.
Okay.
I've been saying that, and the reason I said that was in book 1, number 1, that he and his mama and him were sweethearts. They were college sweethearts. That's number 1. And then while she was still in college, messing around with the divine Elam, and he, they had an issue where he kept trying to get her to stop, not the divine Edom, she was messing around with the black magic or whatever, and he kept trying to tell her to stop, whatever, and he broke up with her. Nowhere in the first book did they say the time frame of when he broke up with her and when she had that baby. But at some point, she got pregnant. And she was not there. Nowhere in there did they talk about any other relationships that she had since she was fooling around in that dark magic. Go ahead, Cam. That's what made me believe.
I would also like to point out in that flashback that Malik had of Professor Aquila, Lorraine was sneaking out to see Terrence. She was out past curfew.
Exactly. So that's what made me think that was Terrence's baby, and that was the other reason that's why he stayed so connected to Mama Aya. Because let's call it what it is. If you done brought off a girlfriend, you done hooked up with somebody else, got married, and had your own little family, why are you still going back to Mama Aya? Why are you so connected to her if you and the daughter you was connected to was not connected? I firmly believe, just from book 1, that was that boy's father. And if you notice, every time he got close to asking that question, something happened. Most of the time it's because his mama did, because Madame Bonclair walked in. And every time
Karen has defended Malik against his mother.
Exactly.
Karen, just a couple chapters ago, 1 or 2 chapters ago, heard Malik talking to his assistant and ran out the door. Was like, nope, I'll take him. Come on in. It ain't office hours, but come on in.
Yeah, so there's more
for nobody.
Yeah, there's more to his connection with Malik other than this was I was close and I was dating your mama. It's more than dating your mama. I was poking your mama.
No, he was in love with that boy's mama, and ain't no convincing her.
Well, he was in love with her.
Ain't nobody convincing me to turn that boy's daddy.
I kept trying to tell y'all. I told you that was that man's daddy.
I said it too.
Because who else the daddy? Just leave it there. I's the pappy. That's what it was. That's why he do all what he do, how he do, when he do, and that's why his mama, he ain't taking that snack off mama when she talking about that boy. When you get through, I the pappy. I just ain't saying it out loud.
Thank you, ladies, for your colorful input. Let's get into the questions, Jesus. We will never be monetized. My God. All right. Questions for the night. We have identity and inheritance. trust and family, nature or nurture, and options and choices. Who won't go first? Glenna, go ahead. Come on, off the mute.
I will go with trust and family.
Trust and family. John Henry appears claiming kinship but withholding truth. What does the story suggest about trusting family, especially when history is complicated or painful?
It's interesting because they keep telling him that he needs to trust them. So his uncles, his who he assumes cousins, things like that are all like, "Oh, no, we're your family. You should trust us." And Mama Aya was also that way. "Oh, I'm your grandmother. You need to trust me." But then in the same vein, yeah, your mom's kind of gone off the rocker. You need to not trust her. And saying this to a kid with the background that Malik has, where trust is very, very hard to come by in his situation. I mean, we don't get the glimpse of all of the foster placements he's had, but the ones he has talked about haven't been great. So trust is not a easy commodity for him to come by. So I think the skepticism for John, where everybody else is just like, "Oh yeah, he's back, cool." Even with Tay's like, "Yay, this guy is awesome. This is great." And Malik's like, "I'm reversing sentiment." He goes, "I believed in Mama Aya, and Mama Aya came through. I wanted to believe in my mom, and my mom did not." So I think in this particular family in general, in this book, he's right to be suspicious. Now, do I think John is inherently evil? No. Do I think he's a bit self-absorbed in whatever situation he's gotten himself into? Not necessarily that he himself is a self-absorbed person, but that his cause or his purpose is more important than anything else? Absolutely. And if it comes to helping him build a relationship with his great nephew, he'll embrace it. Otherwise, he'll drop and go with whatever the plan he has in front of him thinks. So ultimately, I reserve judgment for John, mainly because I don't know what his motives are. If his motives keeps him there, where he builds a relationship with Malik, then I'm all for it. If his whatever he's searching for, he suddenly finds and then he basically leaves, then Malik's right in his suspicion. And so while I think he needs to get to know him, I think he needs to learn specifically why John and his grandmother parted ways. I think that is going to be a very important piece of information. I think he should be cautious, but optimistically cautious, because we don't know. And while the guy did throw a hammer at his head and kind of chase him down in a creature form for a few minutes, he didn't actually do any harm. He was getting his attention. Because with the folklore of John Henry being what it is, if he wanted to hit him with the hammer, he'd have hit him with the hammer. So he meant to miss him. He meant to get his attention. And while there's conflicting evidence on, some of the capabilities of the Nanda, ultimately they're referred to as people killers in folklore. So if he was going to do damage, he was going to do damage. So he obviously didn't mean Malik harm. So from the first impression, he's a little jarring. But I'm hoping the outcome of it is very good for Malik, because I think he needs a strong, constant presence in his life. And I'm hoping this person can become that. He needs people that won't abandon him. And while I have a lot of faith in his, as Lisa said, his ride or die friends, he needs parental. And if he's not going to get that from the chancellor that can't own up to being his father, if that's the case, then he needs to find that presence somewhere else. And if that presence comes, it's never going to come from Samdi, because he's too much I'm the fun uncle that, hands you a drink when you're seriously underage every time I come within your sphere. I'm the person that's going to take you out and get you off your rockers drunk. I'm the person that's going to take you to do the mischief the first time in your life. That's his role. He's I don't want to say comic relief because that's a trope, but I think he's the person that gets you out of your head when you need out of your head. So his trust in him is very much as it should be. It's there, but with the same hesitancy, somebody comes into a room of people they know are going to prank you. You don't eat or drink anything you're handed, and you look at everything before you touch it. And I think he gives off that energy. But I think, and I hope, that the John Henry relationship becomes the pillar relationship he lost with Mama Aya. And with that, I yield.
Yes, Glenna, I would piggyback off of that and say you're absolutely right. He does need a familial, constant figure, because as much as he poured into his mentorship with Kumale, the betrayal that came from that knocked him all the way off. And then to still find that he's just now learning things from other professors he's trusted, like Dr. Akila, still kind of teetering on whether or not to put much trust in Professor Atwell. You're right. He's got to have some family by him at this point, because these professors can come and go and may have their own agendas. I really agree that, and maybe this is a lesson for us all, that you can't trust folk just because y'all blood related. Huh? Because if they are showing you with their actions that they are not exhibitors of kindness or peace, patience, forgiveness, fruits of the spirit, then we maybe just take that as a cautionary tale on how much of our energy we are allowing to be infiltrated by our blood relatives. Huh? All right. But yes, Glenna, like you said, John Henry might be just self-absorbed in whatever his role or whatever his view is of this situation. And I think we've all had our fair share of relatives who have a similar self-absorption with their own worldview or their own understanding of their place in life. So yeah, not that you can't trust nobody, but we should be watching as well as praying. Amen and amen again. All right. Who want to go next? Pam, go for it.
Identity and inheritance.
Identity and inheritance. Ooh. Malik learns he is the scroll of Adon and has inherited Mama Aya's magic. How does this reshape his identity? Is inheritance a gift, a burden, or both?
Well, it depends on perception, honestly. I would say from the outside looking in, because obviously, we're not going to know how Malik feels until he's able to express how he feels, and he's not at that place yet in his maturity, his emotional growth, honestly, because of his age and his emotional intelligence, he's not there yet. So he can't fully express what he's feeling. He just knows he has a lot of big feelings. But from the outside looking in, I would say that his inheritance in particular is both. It's both a gift and a burden, because I would say it's a gift because of who he got it from, and then knowing that what he was gifted wasn't passed immediately through lines and skipped over his mom, whether that be because Mama Aya felt she wasn't worthy of it, or because she had already gotten into bang magic, whatever the case may be. But then also a burden, because becoming the scroll at his age with the lack of knowledge that he has is proving to be very difficult for him. And given the shoes that they want him to fill, it seems like it's gonna be a really hard road of him trying to figure out who he is in this big world that has all these expectations for him, when at the moment he doesn't even know what to expect from himself. And it's difficult because he's young. He's like, what, 18, taking care of this 16-year-old who has this illness off in a regular world, when he has to be in this magical world so he can figure out how to gain control basically of himself, because this piece of him that isn't human, because he's human, he's just human with some extra abilities. The piece of him that isn't human at the moment is completely out of control because he doesn't know the full power and range of the magic he was just given. So it's going to be hard. However, it's going to keep him close to his grandmother because that's who gave him the abilities that he now has. So it could be both, but as far as reshaping his identity, it's hard to reshape what isn't yet formed. He doesn't have an identity yet because he doesn't know his place in the world yet. He thought he was on his way there. Then we got Uno reverse, and Mama not dead. Grandma is now dead. We got this naked uncle over here. Uncle Samity and his wife just floating in and out at their own convenience. The daddy who ain't the daddy is still over here running universities and stuff and can't be a daddy if he is the daddy. So he doesn't know his place in the world yet because he doesn't have any consistent guidance. And I am hoping that he does get that familial guidance from somewhere. But at the moment, I do not trust John Henry. And he has not given me reason to, because if we think back, the way you get trust is when you get that ask and answer. Mama, you're funny. The way you get that trust when you don't know something is when you can ask questions, get answers, get information, right? Well, the question that we not letting go of the naked Uncle Angel, we're not. We're not. Anyway, when Malik finally opened up enough to ask John Henry a question, he completely shut him down. So at what point are you going to give me a door to walk through to build that trust with you? Because it's like every time I try, you taking, I take one step forward, you taking 3 steps back. So I don't trust him yet, and I'm hoping at some point soon we get the reason to. But it's gonna be really hard to reshape his identity because he ain't got it yet. Angel, you have a question? Come off the mute, ma'am.
Thank you. I have a comment. Playing devil's advocate here. I'm not surprised that I'm not surprised that John Henry is not being forthcoming with whatever answers Malik is asking for, because typically men, specifically Black men, are conditioned to believe that their communication of love and concern is action. And I think that's what he's been doing when he shows up to the house. Like, that's his way of making atonement. That's his way of showing he's trustworthy. I'm mowing the lawn. I'm fixing shacks. I'm hammering stuff. I'm making repairs. This is why you should trust me, because I could just be out here being a nun to being naked. But I'm here and I'm here to help. Now, although that's not how we receive acts of being genuine, this man is over 400 some years old, probably. So if this is the typical behavior we've seen from men in this demographic just within the last 50 years, I can only imagine it's exacerbated with men who are older. So maybe that's part of the reason why he ain't just out here pouring out his secrets to Malik. Not saying it's right, but it's a possible reason.
Yeah, I agree with you. I still don't like him. I agree, but I don't like him. Mama, come off the mute.
I think one of the things when it, like you said, Angel, you're very, very true about when you talk about how men communicate love and appreciation. Also considering the time frame, he's from slavery, so his mindset, of course, is back still with them because his mother was a slave who was running for her life, and even though his mother was this magical being that ended up creating the scroll and all this other stuff, he himself had been passed over from receiving the powers. So there may be some hesitation in communicating with Malik because he knew his sister had it, and he had not received the honor of having. Nowhere in there did I get the image he received some of the powers, only what he got through his sister. So he inherently didn't get anything from Mama in terms of magical possession. And so I kind of feel like that may have been the reason he wasn't there at Mama Aya's, passing. There may have been some hard feelings somewhere down the line, even though they were close when they were younger. There may have been something that happened between the two of them that could have caused a rift, and he's coming back to pay homage to someone he did not get an opportunity to rectify the relationship with before her passing, which is why he's willing to do all this stuff that he's doing anyway. It could be just from a sheer of you got to take care of family property, or it could be because I did not do what I should have done. Let me take care of this. Let me not, because it's not none of what he's doing to me is in support of Malik. It's all in, to me, it feels more like to honor the sister I failed to keep my connection with my sister. So let me honor her by taking care of this, for her grandchild who don't know nothing, So, and that's the vibe I was getting from him.
That's the same vibe I'm getting from him too. But all of your issues and your 400 years ain't got nothing to do with this boy living in this house. You taking your stuff out of the wrong people. You need to replace your object permanence, because that guilt and everything does not need to be placed on Malik. Malik didn't do nothing to you.
I didn't say it was guilt placed on, but let's talk about how he is
that's how I feel.
It does feel like that. I don't think it's necessarily an attack against him. It doesn't mean he's going to be open, because it appears as if he's not open even as this
Asshole.
character that he is. He's not, it doesn't seem as if he was very open then. I think that's part of his nature. But again, there may again be some animosity because he didn't get some of these powers that his sister got, and all he got was what she rendered to him. And then it passed on to this boy. Again, he still has
Then
no.
what? Listen, you can go ahead and die and take that up with your parents.
He can't. Well, then there's that.
Listen,
And it might be he mad that he
get
can't
off of
die.
me.
He may be mad about that too. Because technically, if his
I mean,
twin
he
is
can take
gone,
himself out.
he may need to be gone.
So
You
that,
see
that
what's wrong
actually,
with-
ladies, that brings me back to my original question. When we had the vision of he and Mama Aya, and he's talking about how he done deceived these white folks because he got this magical hammer, that makes me further wonder, okay, what happened with this hammer and this railroad and this machine and these white folks? Whatever happened there will give us all the insight we need to know what happened between the two of them as siblings.
Well, according to the folklore legend, you remember the bet was that he could outdo the machine that they built to put the stakes in the railroad, to build the railroad. He said he could do it better and faster than the machine that they built. And because of his power, because he was so powerful with that hammer. And according to the legend, he did. But he was so strong and so fast that for whatever, there was a set, and it's not in this book. I'm talking about the legend that prior to this book, the legend that I grew up under.
Hang on. This a real legend?
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't know that. Sorry.
Oh, okay. But according to the actual legend, John Henry, because he was supposed to be the most powerful man, he could sling this hammer as fast as he can. He was faster than any other man, da 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 da. And the white people was like, well, we built a machine that's faster than you, so we don't really need you. And he was like, no. I'm still faster than that machine. I can still, I'm the big, strong man. I can slash this hammer fast as I can. Da da da. I can still outbeat this machine. And when they put him up against this machine in contest, he did beat out the machine, but he died shortly thereafter.
She looking it up. They talked about it in Elite.
I am today years old, and oh my God.
Right now, years old.
So, okay.
This is
You right now years old.
She right now years
Okay.
old. So with that
Right now,
being said, the fact that he didn't die when Mama Aya died after I think there may be a connection there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because technically, in like I said, in the folklore, he didn't make it past beating it. He beat the machine, but he didn't stay alive much after that because he wore his body and his heart out. But here he still is, and he may have been just set. So the question is, why ain't Sammy got him if Mama Aya gone? And she the one with the magic, because clearly his extra superhuman strength with this sledgehammer came from Mama Aya. So I think there's a connection there, and that may be why he's struggling the way he is. And I agree, he shouldn't be taking it out on Malik. But again, that's where I am with that. And with that, I yield. She is still in this right now.
I'm so sorry, y'all. It's like, remember when we read The Queen's Spade and then we found out that lady was a real person?
Mm-hmm.
I feel right now. It's like,
that's
Angel,
a real folklore legend.
You're adorable, but this legend was the reason for Hammer and Steel's call signs in Elite.
John Henry, yeah.
oh my God. Okay.
Hammer, Steel,
Okay.
all John Henry.
That's great. And they were
While
bald
we're
and black
here,
like him.
Yes.
That's so great. Okay.
while we're here, I yield.
Okay. Thanks. Oh wow. See, now I'm gonna look up everybody in this book because I don't know what's real and what ain't. And see, I'm just all. Mama, what's your question for the night, girl?
Apparently, I need to do. Should I do options and choices or nature and nurture? I don't know. Options and choices, because I don't know which one to do right now.
Options and choices.
Bring me back to my sister.
All right. Multiple characters hint that Malik must choose. How much agency does he really have if powerful forces, inherited magic, and prophecy are shaping his path?
He ain't got none. He ain't got none. Ain't no agency in this. This is what the damn book is about. This is your life. Deal with it. At the end of the day, we know these. The first book let us know it's a bunch of powerful forces that we battling. Number one, I battle not against flesh and blood, but principalities. Oh, let me not go there. Oh Lord. Okay. Whew. Anyway, there are a lot of forces, seen and unseen, that he got to deal with. And yes, they are shaping his path simply because all of this reflects around this is reflective in regards to this Bane magic. And I don't know who was in control before his mama got deep off into the Bane magic, but how is it that she is able to come back, snatch these souls, regain her power? And I got a feeling she's gonna be running some stuff. You know what I mean? And ultimately, he's going to end up having to deal with his mother again. Let's call it what it is. And Kumali then showed up. Yeah, he's got to deal with his mama, Kumali, and whoever else they bring to the table. The problem is, this is his path. He can't get away from it. I promise you, at some point, his mama know that with her mama being dead, because we know she's out. We know Mama Aya ain't around no more, and that the scroll had to be passed. We already know she's coming for her son. It's a given. And if we ain't figured it out, something wrong with us. But it's a given. She's coming for him because she had to pass that scroll off to somebody, and she didn't get it. And she ain't have but one child who left. John Henry ain't around. So she's coming after Malik. And then even in that, now that she and clearly this is the most powerful thing because it's got ancient magic with it. Her mama's magic, her grandmama's magic is super powerful. She didn't get it. She know her son has to have it since Mama Aya is gone. So she's rebuilding her powers to battle him, I guess, in the hopes to gain the scroll or get the scroll from him to be even that much more powerful. So yeah, he recognizes he's got to battle his mama because he knows she's gonna come for him. She's coming for that scroll. He don't have no agency here. He has to go down this path. His goal at this point in this story is, number one, harness the power you have and learn all you can about, number one, your own magic, the magic you inherited, and the scroll. That's his focal point at this point. Still, while trying to be, quote unquote, a teenager. Because let's face it, he wasn't a kid after 8 years old. He didn't get to be a full kid. He just got bounced from house to house. And then once he got with his brother, he became a parent. He became his guardian. So he took away the little bit of his childhood he had left to become somebody's protector. And even still, through this process, even though he relinquished those reins of being his brother's protector, he still goes back on the weekends to check on him, because that's still close to his heart. But now he has the added role of being student being a wizard, warlock, whatever we calling it, witch, whatever we calling it. And he has to harness his powers because he knows he has powers. He knew that when he was young. He didn't know how to harness it, and he kept it on the down low for so long. Now that he's in a place where he can learn about them, he's inherited another set of powers and this scroll powers. So he got triple set of powers, and he hadn't even mastered the first. He does not have agency as far as I'm concerned because he's got too much learning to do before he even deals with his mother, another supreme being of power that he has to battle when he doesn't even know how. He don't know how to battle her because he don't know how to harness his own stuff yet. So his path is already created for him. He just has to do the legwork in finding out how to manipulate, maneuver, and master so that he can be successful. And with that, I yield.
Oh, we child. Y'all, I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the fact that I didn't know John Henry was a real legend.
I knew you was gonna say that. I knew she was coming there.
First of all, I looked up Mama Aya while you was talking, and you know Mama Aya is a legend as well.
Come on with it.
It's like not one specific story, but apparently it's something to do with ayahuasca. And apparently when people take it, they get this divine healing mother experience. It would not surprise me that is what this character was based on. But now, yeah, I'm questioning.
So is that where ashwagandha come from? Because you're supposed to be relaxed when you get that. No, I'm just messing. I'm just teasing.
I don't know, child. I just know I'm questioning everything that come up in this book from now on because Ladarian Williams got me just Googling everything. Well, who's this? What's their story? How this go? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All of it, huh?
All of them. Every last one of them. Anybody have anything to add? No? Okay. All right. Last question of the night. Nature versus nurture. Okay, so Lorraine practiced dark magic before joining the Divine Elam. Do you think institutions corrupt people or reveal what's already inside them? How does this tension play out in Malik's decision? Okay. I think it can be a little bit of both, but in this story is both. So Dr. Akilah makes it very clear that Lorraine was already doing some stuff in the dark magic world before she got with the Divine Elam, and that just furthered whatever evil or whatever brewing darkness she had inside her. So yeah, I think in her case, it definitely amplified or accelerated whatever was already coming up inside her. So I don't think institutions like the Divine Elam or even Cayman University as a whole plants corruption, but they can amplify it. Case in point, we have certain people in certain leadership roles in this here country, who because of certain institutions have been provided access to power, who have received validation for their dangerous ambitions, who have basically had all guardrails removed from any sense of structure and echo chambers created because of that, right? So for certain leaders in particular in this here country, whatever was already in them has just now been exacerbated by the machine, by the system, right? And I say that because we've had other leaders prior who had the same access, who had the same support, who didn't do nearly as many harmful things because it wasn't their character. It wasn't what was already on the inside of them. As far as Malik's decision on whether or not to join the Divine Elam, I can understand why he's hesitant, because somebody had answered a question about his identity earlier. He doesn't really have one, so we don't know, and he doesn't know what's inside him to begin with, and whether or not that will be amplified. I can understand him being scared about following in his mother's footsteps, but I can also understand him being scared about not knowing this new magic that he has, not having that control and that guidance to, put some guardrails in place for himself if he's doing more harm than good by not joining the Divine Elam. I think, if anything, whatever unresolved issues or trauma Malik has surrounding his relationship with his mom, that's something that could definitely be spurred out of control. If he does not have that guidance from the Divine Elam to get it in check, I think some other character, I think it was Dr. Akila, she said that Lorraine was struggling with like these, maybe it wasn't Akila, but somebody said Lorraine was struggling, feeling like she was adequate enough because Mama Aya had the magic passed down to her and Lorraine did not. So she was constantly striving and trying to prove herself in that way. And I think that also played a role in her descending into darkness, because, it made her more ambitious. I feel like Malik's arc is a little different though, because he's asking questions, right? He's really like demanding truth from every professor he comes across. He's hesitant, he's thinking stuff through, he's and just even in the hesitation, I think suggests that he may not go down the same path as his mama. Just the sheer fact that he's putting some thought into it, instead of being like, oh yeah, I got these powers, I got these purple swirls, I got these incantations, I got my grandma land, let's do it, let me be like certain leaders we know would. But that ain't our boy. That ain't how he rolls. I think the real question now at this point becomes, does he confront all the stuff inside him before the Divine Elam amplifies it? I hope so. Yeah. Because you ain't just joining a club on campus. This is an ancient institution. And it's going to help you decide what kind of conjurer, what kind of person, what kind of man you're going to be when you do. Yeah. And with that, I yield. Mother?
I was going to say, in the end, we all have good and evil in us. It is, and because the good Lord has given us the power of free will, we ultimately choose which path we take. It's whether it's going to be good, it's going to be bad, or I'm going to dibble and dabble in both. Malik's path, and I agree. The one thing I agree with you with is that it's not the institutions corrupt people. Institutions give you access. It gives you access to information that can either harness or hinder your opportunity to be either good or bad. As you were describing one of the nation's leaders, and how leaders with the same access in that particular institution use their powers in a whole different way. So ultimately, it's in us, good or bad, good and bad, right and wrong. It's all there. We make the ultimate decision on which side we choose to linger. You know how there was an old adage, and you see it in commercials sometimes, or sometimes in sitcoms or shows, where there's a good angel on one side and there's an angel on one side, a demon on the other, because that's a real thing. God gives you the power to choose which direction you're going to go in. And so you always have your conscience, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, sitting on your shoulder telling you you should do this. And then the other one on the other side talking about some, yeah, but we can fuck some shit up if we gonna do this and have a ball do it. So in the end, you have to decide, which way am I going? Now, Malik, his path is rooted in pain. So you could say nature or nurture, but in the end, all of his stuff is derived from pain. This is a little kid who uh he's his existence has been revolved around pain. Well, number one, he lost a parent, then he wasn't being heard because people thought he was crazy, then there was a lack of security, and and him being made to believe he was the reason for the loss of his parents. So yeah, number one, he suppressed everything he already had in him, only to find out that, so because he thought it was a bad thing, only to find out it actually is a good thing that can be used for bad. So now, and then to find out who his mother, actually his mother wasn't lost and he didn't do anything to her, but to find out that, oh no, your mama knew about this kind of stuff and was doing bad things with it. Now you just change his whole identity or his whole image of who his mother was. And now that he's learned all of this information, he's upset and hurt because of her actions. He had to be in foster care because of her actions. He suppressed his feelings and suppressed his stuff, and because of her actions, he took her away from his family or their family. So he was out here in the world by himself because of her actions. These are the choices she made. Then, to once you get the knowledge of, oh, you do belong, you ain't out here in the world by yourself. What is in you is not bad, it's actually good and can be used for good, but you inherit it from someone who's using it for bad, and this is why you in this situation. So now his whole methodology is, okay, and if you notice, he always revert back, is my mama causing this, all of this because of my mama? So this boy, he's hurt, he was hurt, he's hurting, and he's got to decide, even once he learns, because now he knows the Bane magic is what got her being kicked out anyway. So he didn't want to do to learn about the divine Elam, because he figured that's where she got in tune with the Bane magic, and that's when she went bad and rogue and all this other stuff. But not only, and this is my prediction for the next set, not only is he going to have to be in the divine Elam, he's going to have to learn Bane magic in order to be able to fight against his mama. So because this is what she's using to overcome the powers that they already have. So not only does he have to be in the divine Elam, learn all the stuff she learned, he's going to have to also delve off into some Bane magic to know the attacks that's coming at him. So he's got to be open to all of this. And in the course of all of that, while he's attacking his own personal identity, have to figure out whether at the end of this fight with my mama that I know finna come, am I going to still be the good person I feel deep down in my spirit, or am I going to turn and do the same crap she doing? Because I want this power. Because he doesn't seem to be power hungry. But again, once you get all this information, because like his mama, once she got all this information, she was like, oh, I want this power. Whether it's to be validated by her mama or not. Once she got it, she got overwhelmed with it, wanted more of it, needed it, and did everything to get more of it. And somewhere in there, he has to make that same decision. Because in order to battle his mama, he has to learn everything she learned and still be able to wield it in order to battle. And he's going to have to come across that same crossroad his mama came across and make a decision. Are you doing it for good? Or are you doing it for power? And with that, I yield.
Period. Anybody have any final questions, predictions, comments, concerns before we wrap up tonight?
I'm back to hating everybody.
We know.
Okay.
We know.
Why?
Don't like anyone. We know.
Well, I like Malik.
Oh,
And you like D-Lo and Savon?
the
I
protagonist.
love
Ooh.
D-Lo and Savon are everything. Love
Like
them.
I said, I hope they never break up.
Same. I also like Dominique. I'm a little iffy on Professor Aquila because she was wrong. She was real extra wrong. And I love Samity and Tay. I don't like everybody else though.
I feel like Aquila is going to be what help opens the door for him coming up. I also feel like I can't wait to see what this homecoming going to look like. Because
Aquila should have started opening doors a while ago.
I know, but I feel like
Don't
because
piss
I
me
don't know
off, girl.
when, where, or how he gonna join, but he got to join. He got to join to get that information he needs. But I feel like she might be the one to teach him the Bane magic because, like, she's been around forever in 12,000 years, so she may be the one to teach him other.
You're talking about Professor Atwell.
Oh, Atwell, I'm sorry. Yeah, but I feel like that's the one that's gonna be key for him to get what he needs for this battle coming up. But now, as far as the homecoming is concerned, I'm ready. I'm ready to see and hear what this homecoming gonna be like. Because historically Black college, university, and it's magical, baby, should be off the chain. Should be off the mother freaking chain.
Agreed, Mother. Glenna, any closing remarks?
No, I'm just looking forward to what the next chapters, because quite the cliffhanger we got left with at the end of this.
Right?
And we couldn't have chosen a better chapter to stop at, not gonna
I'm
lie.
saying this was good.
So I'm interested to see whether this is an actual confrontation or whether this is another quote unquote recruitment conversation.
Mm.
Because that possibility popped up in my brain. Because I think the professor is, above all, wants his power. Whether that's destroying him to take it from him or whether that's to cultivate it for his own uses has yet to be seen. But I don't, well, for obvious reasons, don't trust the man as far as we could throw him. But but I'm interested to see if this confrontation is a legitimate confrontation or if it's something else. And just food for thought. The way he was describing the feeling at the concert makes me wonder, and this is off of left field, so please keep that in mind, if the singer isn't involved in the boucours and that she's subtly drawing power from the crowd.
Baby, if nothing else, she drew the crowd so that the Bocors could come out there and what's her name could get some more power. Because they couldn't touch them as long as they was on the campus.
But he specifically stated that he felt like he was being drawn into the music, that something was being pulled from him.
Oh, Glenna.
You might have something
and he shook it off.
Oh, Glenna. See, this is why we keep you around. My in-law.
Partially because I read that 2 hours before this started.
Nope. It's because you're the in-law with the insight. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Who procrastinates?
Hey, we all got our things.
Hey,
All right.
y'all gotta.
So as we get ready for next week, let's pay attention to a couple things. How Malik's power grows, because they've been hitting at that a lot. Also, who he decides to trust, huh? And what decisions he makes while he's under this pressure. Mm-hmm. Next week, we're going to dive into chapters 13 through 24. So, ready? Right here on the Family Plot, where every chapter digs deep. Oh, Mother, you had a...
I had a feeling Glenna said something. She said something about that professor Kamale.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see if what your insight, if that is the case, because if that is the case and he's trying to get Malik's power for himself, means he gonna have to go up against Malik's mama, because at the end of the day, mama coming for that scroll. So if he trying to take Malik's power, I got a feeling that's gonna blow the heads. But at any rate, I'm ready for it. Whatever coming next week, I'm ready.
And with that, we all yield. Amen and
Yeah.
amen.
Amen and amen.
See y'all next week on the Family Plot, where every
Peace.
chapter digs deep. Bye, y'all.
Bye.